It is party time, Mom. Welcome to a Monday episode, another brand new episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're in the Mothership Studio 22. We're coming at you. We are flying into the nether regions of all things. Well, apparently, it's convenient to get COVID now, according to a lot of Texas lawmakers, Texas Democrat lawmakers that fled to hide under Nancy Pelosi's skirt. We're going to talk about those fun things and more. Look who's at the helm driving the mothership. The puppet master, Mark, the perfectionist, is back. It's not that Kayla's bad. We love Kayla. It's not a slight on her, but she's not the same. She's not the same perfectionist that you are, Mark. So I'm glad you're here. She's efficient because she doesn't give that many craps. We get this thing knocked out. I'm glad you're back. I don't know. Maybe you'll start slipping now that you're married. Now that you're married, maybe you'll just kind of let some things go and kind of relax a little bit. Of course, Candace, the queen over there, she's look at her sitting in the shadows. This is like it. You just barely see her hand peeking out right there. This is it for Candace. She's on her way out, going to work for Megyn Kelly.
I keep hearing that, but she's still here.
She's still here. She keeps showing up. She sits over there in the corner.
This morning at Megyn Kelly's, and she wasn't there, so I just went ahead and came here.
Just came on in, yeah. But she said you're not that big of a perfectionist at home, so you're going to have to step that up, Mark. He said, no, he's not that big. He's going to be pretty laid back. Anyway, we got Chris Cruz. Chris and I, apathy is our default setting. Right, that's how we operate. So we got this under control. Party pal Steve and Jennings sitting at the pub. Good weekend, boys.
Great weekend.
It was a blur.
Not too bad.
It was a blur. We did a show in Roswell, New Mexico, Saturday night. Got there on the bus, got off the bus, did the show. Apparently, they make tequila a little stronger in New Mexico. I don't know. It affected me differently, Jennings, because at some point in time in the show. I just reached in my pocket. It was something funny or whatever we were talking about, and whatever cash was in there, I just went and just threw it. The first 3 rows of people, I mean, there were elbows flying. There were women in fights trying to get to those dollar bills.
Those were $20 bills.
There were.
I don't know if you did it on purpose or you flung your hand out. They went everywhere.
You should do that every show.
No, I shouldn't. Basically, I gave those people a free show. They got their ticket money back. Anyway, in the hot seat today, Dr. Cordie Williams. Cordie Williams is our special guest. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Glad you finally got you on here. We got all kind of things to talk about, things that you're doing, things going on in your world, and you're pretty passionate about what you've got. drcordiewilliams.com is the website. You can get all of his content that's over there. Cordie.
Look at you spelling it. I'm so flattered. Usually I get called Gordy, Sporty, Jordy, Rorty, and or Cordie. That's a good one too.
I mean, you look like you're 12 years old. So
I do. I have to wear a shirt and tie at work because I look like Doogie Howser.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Hey, man, I'm starting to look like my dad. I've just decided that because I go down in weight and then I come back up in weight, and look at me. I'm like, don't even care anymore. Just don't even care, Cordie.
Well, the excuse is now we got man bods.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
you can have a man bod. I don't even know what it means, but I mean, hey, I'll take it.
I tell people all the time,
another beer.
The myth of the dad bod being sexy, and inevitably I'll bring this up, and somebody at a show will be like, "It's sexy," and I'm like, "Okay." When you're sitting there running your fingers through the hair on your husband's back, that is not what you're thinking about.
If you have a dad bod, do you have to have fur?
You pretty much do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a big.
It's in the contract, yeah.
You're like a gay man's dream. You're just a big old bear. Oh, it's disgusting. But I'm sorry, ladies. It's what you get. This is what you get. Oh, my gosh. I mean, I don't even care anymore. I'm done caring. I've been on the campaign trail. I can't wait to talk to you about this campaign I'm doing because I want to get your take on a couple of different things. But I've been out on the campaign trail. We've been traveling so much, which we always travel. And I just hit a point where you hit a stress mark where you're like, screw it. I'm just going to eat hamburgers for every meal and just garbage. I'm not going to take any vitamins or
Saturday night you asked me, did I eat yet or not?
I know. It was crazy. And I was apparently I had McDonald's.
Yeah, you did.
Do keto and then get your carbs from bourbon. That's what I say. A cheeseburger with lettuce. That's what I do. And then I have an old fashioned later on.
There you go. See, Steve's pretty steady. You're in keto right now, aren't you?
Well, after yesterday brunch, maybe not, but I'll be back in it by this evening.
Yeah.
Be back in it. I love that.
Yeah.
Be peeing on a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say peas on sticks every day.
Every day, 2 or 3 times a day.
My thing, Cordie, you work out?
I do, and I wear extra small T-shirts, mediums.
Yeah.
Because it cuts off the oxygen to the biceps, makes them look bigger. So then you don't have to work out, and it looks like you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of like interval, like fast training. They call it HIIT training. I don't know what that means. I don't do HIIT training, but we do like 45-second intervals. I have a gym that I go to.
Yeah.
And they'll do upper body stuff, burpees. You'll be pushing tires, all sorts of stuff, and. It's, man, I walk out and I'm drenched.
I got to do some stuff because I saw some pictures of me doing some campaign events over this past week, and I was like, okay, this campaign stuff's making me look like shit.
I saw those pictures too. I was like, dang, who put those up there?
That's pretty messed up right there.
We'll get man, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Be rocking and rolling. Hey, folks, with major corporations going woke and canceling free speech, we need to partner with companies deserving of our trust. Do you know that many wireless companies support left-wing causes that threaten our freedoms and beliefs? Patriot Mobile is different. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless company, donates a portion of every dollar they receive to organizations that fight for causes you and I care about. Right now, they have two great offers to choose from. Either get 50% off your first 2 months or $100 off any new phone. Both come with free Premier activation. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Chad for details. Patriot Mobile has the broadest nationwide coverage and uses the same towers as the major providers, so you get great service for less money. Go to patriotmobile.com/Chad, or you can call their top-rated U.S.-based team at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. Veterans and first responders are going to save even more. Switch to Patriot Mobile, a company you can trust to support your values. PatriotMobile.com/Chad or call 972-PATRIOT. Be right back. All right, Cordie. I get it all the time with the Prather. I never correct people. It's Prather. There's my correction. I never do it. Where'd you come from? Tell me your story. I know it, but people need to know it.
So, born in Florence, Alabama, raised in Seattle before it was communist, and then we moved back to Alabama. Signed up and joined the Marine Corps at 17. Talked my mom into signing papers, and went to Parris Island, South Carolina. Did 4 years in the Marine Corps and got my economics degree while I was in, and got out and, like a lot of folks, tried to figure out what the heck I wanted to do. Thought I wanted to be an attorney. Thank goodness that didn't happen.
Right.
And dabbled around, ended up doing some work with the National Football League. We would have clients fly in to this doctor down in Atlanta, Georgia. Ended up in Atlanta and working with him. He was a chiro. And so fate would find it. I'd go to chiropractic school, meet my wife there, and she had a great idea to move out to California under the regime of Adolf Newsom. Mm-hmm. And we've been there about 7 years.
Yeah.
And then all this blew up around the COVID scam.
So living out there, how heavily did everything affect you as far as the shutdowns and everything?
Chad, we were, from the get-go, my wife and I, we just really saw the writing on the wall that like we didn't know what was going to happen with our business.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Americans, we were really frightened. It was 14 days to slow the spread, and then it's okay to be 6 feet, and then you can have 10 people in a room, and now you can have 25. Now you can't, and so like we had to shut down classes, and we probably lost 20 to 30 patients. We see about probably 1,200 people a month. A lot of folks, but our practice was cut by 25, 30%. Wow. And it took us a month of calling just to get people, like people were really, really scared.
Yeah.
At that time.
And you've obviously been pretty involved in political activism and pretty outspoken and running for office. And you're kind of like me in that regard. You got a lot of stuff going on, but then you got a lot of stuff going on the side. And how'd you get involved with all of that?
Yeah, well, I had, right when the lockdown started, my wife came home and she said, honey, we got to get involved.
Yeah.
We're about to lose our country. We're about to lose our state. And, I never even thought about protest. It was just not something, I'm a former Marine. We don't protest, right? And so we did a couple of rallies before the rallies ever really got big. The third one was at the Sacramento State Capitol. And they had it was almost like they prepared for it. Mm-hmm. Like the governor, so-called governor. They pulled the permits the night before, and this was a real peaceful protest, not one where you there's a fire in the background and people are throwing bombs into buildings and stealing Gucci bags.
One of those mostly peaceful protests. Yeah.
The mostly peaceful ones, right? This was a real one. And he pulled the permits. He bussed in CHP officers from San Francisco and Sacramento. And after about an hour into it, we saw women thrown to the ground, batoned. There was 300 cops in riot gear. And I just got PO'd, man. Turned my hat backwards, got a megaphone, and started talking to these guys about the oath they took and what that oath meant. And I don't know, 50 of them started to back down and step off this high-raised platform they were on. And 19 million people liked it. And then we launched 1776 Forever Free the following day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's the thing I try to encourage people. We were at an event last week, Del Rio, Texas, and this lady, she spoke up and she asked a question. She said, how do we know that anything we're doing is making a difference? You know, if we feel like we don't have faith in voter integrity, election integrity, we feel like the whole system is rigged, why should we even be involved? And you can hear that defeat in the voice, right? And I hear it from all these different people who they're thinking, whatever I'm doing is not doing any good. But I keep encouraging them. There's so many things that you can use. Whatever platform you have, whatever voice you think you have, you can use those things. And the little spark, you never know when you're going to touch something off, right? You're a perfect example of that. Just being willing to be bold and speak up. So I'm encouraging everybody to go out there and get batoned, get slapped around a little bit, and make sure there's video running. Don't ever get batoned without video going. You want to make sure. But seriously, you never know what's going to touch something off, right? And that's the thing. So, I always try to encourage people with that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that, I had no clue. I had no plans to be involved in politics.
Yeah.
I prayed for a legacy, and I guess it was February of last year. And, I had a great life. Everything was working. But, God gave us this organization, and we probably did, 20, 60 rallies up and down California, took it nationwide. I've been on stage with every major conservative probably there is. And we've had people come up to us doing constitutional education that we've been doing and launching this platform to put people in office. But we've seen people around the country like you that are frustrated and hopeless. And what I'm trying to tell folks is, hey, step up and lean in, and your voice does matter. Your vote still matters, because if we don't do that and everybody cancels their Facebook account, and everybody cancels their Twitter account, and nobody votes in 2022, they're going to steamroll us, and you and I are going to be standing in a bread line with ARs, right? And I don't want that. And I'm not inciting violence. I'm just saying it's going towards socialism and communism.
Yeah.
And as well as I do, there's no denying that. It's like so overt right now.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about standing in a bread line, Steve. You're keto.
That's right. So I do that. But I do have to ask you a question.
You're going to stand in a broccoli line?
I'd get in a lot of trouble from a lot of guys if I didn't address the parasailing Marine thing. And that's known fact. That's where all the women are trained in the Marine Corps. Is it parasailing?
Oh, my goodness.
There's my little dig. Hoorah.
Oh, man. Semper Fi, baby. I didn't know I was coming into the Hornets nest today. Oh, my goodness. So we must have a Hollywood Marine over there.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
Somebody that's standing.
Here we are, right in front of a camera.
Every time we land in San Diego, Steve's like, yeah.
Used to live there.
Puffs that chest out a little bit, starts pointing his finger.
Every time before they put on their ruck, they get makeup done. Yeah. They get the blush.
My makeup done today.
Yeah, we should ask Leslie. Leslie, I just met. We'll have to get her on the road. So when you're coming off the bus in San Diego, we can make sure that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, love it, brother.
You know, at the time I got in trouble with all the Marines.
What's that?
So this was back a few years ago when it was a real big deal about stepping on the flag and burning the flag, and it's always been a thing. But you kind of hit its pinnacle a couple of years ago where everybody was kind of making a point about the flag, standing on it. And I was walking into the gym. This is back when I actually did things. I was about to go in the gym, and I just stopped in my truck, and I just put the camera on, and I said, I'd just been with a whole bunch of Marines for like the Marine Ball, and I'd been with them all weekend long. And I just had Marines on my brain, right? And when you're thinking about just toughness, you think the Marines, right? You're not thinking about these Air Force guys that are now don't even make you run anymore to qualify as a pilot. They can just walk 500 yards.
Stress card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd just been with all these Marines, but it was like I was thinking soldiers, but I was thinking Marines, and I do this thing. I said, well, wait till there's a platoon of Marines that have been deployed for 9 months. When they're coming back through the airport, just snatch one of those Velcro flags off of their shoulder and throw it on the ground and step on it in front of them. See what happens to you. Well, the Marines don't wear Velcro flags, right? They don't do that. I was thinking, I was in terms of decorum, I was thinking soldiers. Oh my God, the Marines were ready to tar and feather me.
You got razzed for that? Like that? I think that's a legitimate.
Listen, I was on every blog post. I mean, like the intent of what I was saying, you get, right?
Right,
the
100%.
Point. I mean, completely patriotic intentions.
I think I even sent you a text that, hey, buddy.
Yeah, but here's the deal. So I was in the gym. I went in the gym, worked out I was in there for like an hour and a half, and I was in the middle of it. I go, did I say Velcro flag and Marines? And it's just in my brain, right? And I'm like, I need to go check that. So when I come out of the gym, I get in my truck, and the thing already had like 7 million views.
Oh, man.
And I was like, in like an hour and a half, I was like, oh crap, there's no getting out of this
I think
now.
by now they're probably all Velcro because I was even pre-name tags. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was pre-name tags.
Wow, brother.
So
You're showing your age.
Yeah.
Like not even sewn on name tags?
They started sewing them on probably my last
What?
6 months in.
Well, man, you were really in it then. So you probably got beat up in boot camp then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Got
Back before it was PC.
I rescind my Hollywood Marine comment then.
Back before it was PC. But you started 1776 forever. And you guys have held rallies all over the place. How's all that going?
Good. We have a constitutional class. We do Zoom it all across the United States every Thursday night from 6 to 7:15. I got an awesome guy named Doug Gibbs that teaches that for me. And then we're launching a platform right now. I always say to folks, we launched it about 2 months ago as far as doing it. But you know how it is with volunteers, guys. You know how it is. I thought we were going to have 5 counties done. And, there's probably, I don't even know the number. I know there's 58 counties in California alone. I think Texas is double or triple that. We thought we were just going to be plugging and have half of them done by now. We almost got 5 of them done. We got the back end of the website, but basically what it is it's a click and touch platform where from A to Z, if you want to run for city council or board of education, all the info's right there. Here's the application. Here's how to do it. Here's how to grow a constituency. Because I know you agree, this battle is going to be fought and won at the local level.
Yep.
And the Sleepy Joe virus taught us that our state's rights, our governors, our future governor, right? These things are so important for us to be involved in, because if we're not, I used to just check a box, not think it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But look what happened the last 15 months by us being asleep at the wheel.
Yeah. And I've talked about that because when you and I met a while back, you were telling me this idea about making sure that people had the information that they needed to run. And if you've never run for office, they make it impossible.
Absolutely.
They make it impossible. And you're walking on eggshells. It's a razor's edge. And then you have this ethics commission that's back there, like Big Brother's watching, and they exist to catch you doing something. We're dealing with the situation here in the state of Texas where our ethics commission is appointed by the governor. So they exist to protect the guy that's in the office, right?
Yeah.
So if you're opposing him in any way, shape, or form, you really got to be, because they're going to catch you at something. I've had so many guys say, put $500 back because you're going to get fined for something. You make it so that the average person on the outside doesn't even want to deal with that nonsense. So I'm glad for what you're doing. That's a helpful tool. It's a useful tool.
Well, thanks, brother. And it's funny to hear people like that talk about ethics.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Because all these administrators, when I hear people talk about the swamp in D.C., 9 times out of 10, they're talking about the administrators. Yeah. Those that have been in it 25, 30 years, and they're basically writing the policies that these guys are putting out. So I would imagine there's some hacks like that doing the administration.
I'm going to get Steve a job as a lobbyist. One of Greg Abbott's former staffers is now one of the top lobbyists in Austin. He makes about $8 million a year.
I could do it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all you had to say. He's like, sign me up.
I'm in, Holmes. Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy that they monetize everything to that degree, and they're going to preach to you about ethics,
Right.
and come at you with all this stuff. But we just did our quarterly finance campaign finance report. Impossible. I mean, it's just so hard to do. Of course, anyway. I won't get into the weeds on that, but they make it just impossible for the average person to get involved. And I tell people, I said, there's precinct chairs that are open in Texas by the thousands. There's 500 in Harris County alone that are open. Folks need to get involved. They need to get, you want to talk about election integrity? That's where you start.
100%.
Get in there and you can put eyeballs on the situation. Anyway, I'm going to get into some more of this crazy COVID stuff. I want to talk about these Texas lawmakers that fled to D.C. in a minute. But before we take a break, is the mask mandate madness making you nauseous? It is me. Are you feeling nauseous on your commute right now? All those trains, subways, and bumper-to-bumper traffic making you sick to your stomach? You've got to check out Relief Band. Relief Band is the #1 FDA-cleared anti-nausea wristband that has been clinically proven to quickly relieve and effectively prevent nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and so much more. This product is 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, and provides all natural relief with 0 side effects for as long as needed. How it works is Relief Band stimulates a nerve in the wrist that travels to the part of the brain that controls nausea. Then it blocks the signal your brain is sending to your stomach, telling you that you are sick. The technology was originally developed over 20 years ago in hospitals to relieve nausea for patients, but now through Relief Band, it is available to the masses. Anyone who deals with nausea knows how awful it is, even if you don't get nauseous often. Suggest that you try Relief Band for anxiety benefits alone. This is not a product that you want to miss out on. It will bring you peace of mind and help you not worry about nausea again. As the world is opening back up, don't let the fear of nausea keep you on the sidelines. If you're getting ready to take that summer road trip, hopping on a boat, or you're just anxious about heading back into the office, I got good news. Right now, Relief Band has an exclusive offer just for my audience. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code WATCHCHAD, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping and a no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. That's reliefband.com. Use my promo code WATCHCHAD for 20% off plus free shipping. We've all experienced that horrible feeling, whether it's in the backseat of the car staring at your phone, maybe after one too many and a night out with friends, Party Foul Steve, and even just from the anxiety of a work day. Nausea can ruin a day. Go to reliefband.com. Use promo code WATCHCHAD. We'll be right back.
How long have you guys known each other?
So everybody knows that Governor Greg Abbott here in the state of Texas called for a special session. Here's the thing. You know why you don't put kids in timeout? It's better just to beat their ass right there. He gave them, if you put them in timeout, it gives them 10 minutes to think about the next round of crap they're going to do to you, right? They just strategize. So Greg Abbott waited 6 weeks before calling a special session because the Dems, of course, walked out when it came time to discuss the voter integrity bill, and they hit the roads, claiming, of course, everything is racist. If you have to show an ID, well, then that's racism, which is insulting to the black community to say that you're not smart enough or capable of going into a driver's license. So they walked out. Well, then 6 weeks later, when they knew the special session was due to start, they all hopped on a bus, hopped on a plane, and there they are. No masks.
Did they do all that without using an ID?
Well, I was going to say they had to show an ID to get on the plane,
all right.
Which is this is the height of stupidity of the world we're living in, right? So there they are. They're on the plane. Some of them you saw on the bus. They had the Miller Lite, the big case of Miller Lite, which that's a good bait for if you want to catch a dim. Is just apparently Miller Lite. Just roll a Miller Lite out there, and they just flock to it.
Why couldn't they be the ones that went to that island and lost?
Or what is that new show that's out, Manifest or whatever, where they take off on a plane and then they show up years later?
Manifest? I don't know about Manifest.
Yeah, they got.
Well, if I could get my Wi-Fi to work, I might be able to watch it. But anyway,
You're gonna be upset though. They canceled it. As soon as I started watching it, they're like, we're not making it anymore.
Well, never mind. I won't get started on that. They can stay off in the future. But anyway, the Democrats, that's what they did. They took off to D.C. Well, apparently they went maskless, and now they got COVID. Awfully convenient. Three of the Democratic state legislators who absconded to prevent a vote on a Republican election bill have tested positive for COVID-19 while holed up in Washington, D.C. after ditching their face mask as they travel. So they have been fully vaccinated, right? Which, again, people don't understand. The vaccine, which I'm not getting vaccinated. 10 years from now, once people, I see if people's faces have all fallen off or something like that, and I need it, maybe we'll see. Get it if you want to get it. Up to you. I don't feel like I need it. But the thing about the vaccine is, getting the vaccine doesn't mean you'll never get COVID. It means you won't die from it. You won't get this, that's at least that's the claim. Now, you could maybe die from the vaccine itself. Who knows? Anyway, they also met with Vice President Harris. Pop that picture up there. There they are. They're all, boy, they look really socially distanced right there, don't they? And Kamala in there cackling after every word. They met with Chuck Schumer. They sang "We Shall Overcome" for the press, which I mean, golly, this is Cordie. Has the world lost its mind or what?
Well, the fact that we would wear a facial condom for the first time in history, and that would prevent us from the flesh-eating bacteria with a 99.9% survival rate.
Yep.
And then they're drinking Miller Lite because, of course, we know that boosts your immune system. Mm-hmm. And which I'm a proud supporter of Miller Lite, but not because of the Democratic part. But I was drinking it way before they did, and it's just fascinating, right? The whole thing is idiocy. I mean, even plexiglass. Like when I see somebody looking at plexiglass, and I guess they feel safe, but I guess because the virus isn't going to go around the plexiglass. But this virus actually, it can infect you in some states, in some cities, in some counties. Others it can't. Florida now, all of a sudden it can infect you. California, as of June 15th, it could no longer infect you because Adolf Newsom said so. So the whole time, it's a total sham.
It is.
It really is. And I'm not going against anybody that lost a loved one, but God bless them. But why are we putting masks on kids?
Yeah.
And that's the population that's the least affected by it.
Yeah. And I see where LA actually is bringing the masks back. They're bringing back mask mandates. I'm at the bank the other day. I had to do some business, and I'm sitting there talking to the guy at the desk. He's got plexiglass on his desk, and he's wearing a mask, and he's Hispanic, Chris. And I'm trying to understand what this guy's talking about when we're dealing with my money from behind a mask with an accent and plexiglass. I needed an interpreter. I mean, it's like I'm trying to move money around and get stuff taken care of in business. I'm like, I hope it all went to the right place. I hope it did. But there's actually 5 Democrats now who have tested positive. I'm going to read this. Mike Openshaw, who's a buddy of mine, he's pretty active in Texas politics. I saw this post this morning. He said, we now have 10%, which is 5 of 51, 10% Texas House Democrats testing positive for COVID. And I'll not be surprised if a few more don't turn up positive in the next day or so. As many of you know, I keep up on the research papers on this stuff, and in a fully vaccinated population, the highest number I've seen for reinfection was around 7%. That maximum of 7% was based on many months of potential re-exposure to infection. The Democrats all seem to acquire it in a single exposure, clearly as they travel maskless in violation of FAA rules. In buses, luxury chartered planes, and generally do not have the superior air handling systems with the HEPA filters that commercial planes now do. That percentage of fully vaccinated population contracting in a single point event seems extremely unlikely, given that many studies that show far lower rates of between 3% and 7% from months of exposure. This is literally the first super spreader event I've heard of in a vaccinated population. See where he's going?
Yeah.
They're full of crap. They are full of crap. Almost all previous super spreaders I heard of was from contact person who became seriously ill with the disease. You normally need a lot of virus for a super spread, and we're not hearing about such a person in this case. So the question has to be asked, are we actually dealing with a fully vaccinated population, the Texas COVID Democrats? At this point, we pretty much only have their word that each of them from the Texas House Democrat runaways did get the jab. And now he's questioning whether or not they even got vaccinated at all. Maybe they forged a document.
Maybe, or
saying they didn't have anything to do with it.
We're going to see how many of them survive, and then we'll, that's a good little test group.
Yeah.
Let's see how many of them survive.
Yeah.
Well, and here would be the other thing, guys. If the vaccination works, if it works, why are you worried about me getting one?
Exactly.
I mean, I think as constitutional guys, we would all say that, the greatest thing about this republic is that we have choice.
Yeah.
And when you take away choice, do we still have a republic?
Yeah. We were on our tour bus the other day. We were driving, and the TV was on. I was just kind of mindless. It was in the background there at the front of the bus, and I looked up, and it was MSNBC, which I don't, or as I call it, MSDNC. I was sitting there looking at it, and they, how they always put the COVID death, like you see the numbers that are always going up. These are the COVID deaths. They have the number of vaccinations, right? How many people in America have been vaccinated? And I'm like, you tell me this isn't a narrative. I mean, you 100% this is some kind of a narrative here that they're doing this. And you're going to just flash that stuff up there. Control people with fear, man. And now it's going to be show me your papers. It's going to be one of those kind of deals. You got to prove something. Texas Democrat posted Thursday night on Twitter a picture of her hand-washed clothes to portray her prevention of the passage of a Republican election integrity bill. That was her personal sacrifice. There's her bra and panties just hanging right up there in the shower.
That's a 42 B.
42E? 42 double E?
I think it's a D.
There's some cannons there. It said...
That's an over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
Said, you bet we're recognizing and honoring our country's heritage, said Democratic State Rep Donna Howard. As most Texans, though, this is what we're doing tonight, using whatever is accessible, washing our clothes in the sink. Ooh, you desperately oppressed woman. Listen, man, if I were the governor, they would have me on the news. I'd be down there with a Black & Decker screwdriver or drill, and I'd be changing the locks on the office doors. Personally. I would fire their staff. I'd declare their seats vacant. I'd make it where they could never hold public office ever again. They would be arrested for violating their oath and dereliction of duty. I would take their chairs from the House floor, put it out in the front yard of the Capitol building, and set it on fire. I'm just telling you. You want to make a statement? You want to come arrest me? Come arrest me. But
however, if they can make it in that building without their ID, then
right.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I mean, anyway.
I like that. Turn it into a game. Turn it into a contest.
Yeah. MSNBC host Joy Reid is calling Abbott a Jim Crow governor for threatening to arrest the Texas Democrats. Show that picture again of them with Kamala there. There they are. How many? There's a lot of white faces. A lot of white faces sitting around. I mean, I can't see it real clear from here, but that's just a lot of glowing white faces.
Also, Kamala sure looks like she knows how to handle a microphone.
Yeah, it's interesting. She's doing it standing up. But she went to Walter Reed Medical Center for a routine doctor's appointment on Sunday. I guarantee when they broke the news and said, one of those people in the room with you had COVID, now there's 5 of them, I bet she went, holy crap. And she went in there to get herself checked out. So, anyway, it says that, probably weren't at risk of exposure because they were not in close contact with those who tested positive. We'll see.
But if you were in contact with someone that was in contact with someone that was in contact with someone that was in contact with the virus, you may be at potential risk of getting it.
We're all dead. I am legend. We are all dead. Only person going to be walking around is Will Smith. Him and his dog, and the dog doesn't make it. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad. Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering when the flesh starts coming off my elbow.
It just starts falling off.
Yeah, it just starts falling off. Kind of like that, the glue, when glue gets dry, it kind of scales off.
Peeling it off. All right, we got more. We'll be right back. Funny. DrCordieWilliams.com, DrCordie Williams.com. You got great videos over there, podcasts, you got all kind of stuff going on. It's fantastic. It's a weird world we're living in, right? Just average dudes like us can run our mouth and
people actually listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, get things stir up the hornet's nest.
People always tell me, they're like, I go to these events and people are like, man, I've been watching you for years. I'm like, I am a great time waster. I mean, I just wonder how much of people's time I have wasted over the years. Go to watchchad.com. It's where all the fun stuff is. Prather2022.com. I'm Chad Prather, and I approve this effing message. The Biden administration reportedly warns Border Patrol to prepare for massive amounts of migrant families.
They're already there.
They're there. Trust me. Val Verde County, we were just down there last week. They're apprehending 1,100 a day. 1,100 a day. Where's Joe? I want Joe to go down there and look at that part of the river where I was at, where I just walked to the river. I mean, there's no fence, there's no gate,
I don't think they've designed a walker yet that can go through mud, and gravel, right? And then there's nobody to change his urinary diaper, and it'd just be a chaotic situation for him.
I'm sure they could bring a case of Ensure down there and have it ready for him.
Where are most of these coming from? Are we still, or is it South America?
Again, Val Verde County, they've apprehended from 84 countries.
Yeah,
84 countries this year. So not that many countries south of the border. They're coming from all over the world.
Wow.
The easiest place to access America right now is on the Texas border from Mexico. That's the easiest place. There's
some guy listening in South America right now going, "Hey, Chad Prather said,
yeah, come on,
my way.
Turn it on." But border officials are reportedly being warned to prepare for the processing of more than 1,000 migrant families each day ahead of President Joe Biden's expected plans to terminate Title 42 by the end of July. Donald Trump implemented Title 42 to expel migrants from the country during the novel coronavirus pandemic. Once the migrants are released from Border Patrol, they would essentially be free to remain in the U.S. Some immigrants skip court hearings that are sometimes not scheduled for 2 years after they are detained. Let me just tell you, not some immigrants, all the illegals will not be in court. They're not going to come back after 2 years for a court date.
I wouldn't.
No,
yeah,
I wouldn't either.
By the way, you realize this is how we solve the Cuba situation. We just tell them, hey, don't swim to Florida. Swim to South America. You'll get in, no problem.
Right. Come on over, and then you come on up. But isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazingly hypocritical when they're saying, the Biden administration is saying, if you come up on our shores from Cuba, you're not getting in. But the folks from coming in through Mexico,
well, they're
100%.
concerned about the, finding boatloads of dead, immigrants. But they're not worried about the, deaths happening on our border.
Well, they also are worried because the folks in Cuba are waving American flags and are strong conservatives.
I was going to say they're going to vote for Donald Trump.
They want freedom.
They've taken Fauci's playbook for COVID, and now they're saying, well, let's use this for immigration.
Yeah,
which is no common sense at all, really.
Right. I saw video over the weekend that was heavily disturbing. People give me this stuff. They show me this stuff. I'm in direct contact with a lot of sheriffs, county sheriffs on the southern part in the border, South Texas. A lot of different folks who are working down there, border agents, border patrol, ICE agents, former agents. I'm in contact with a lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of stuff. The statistics are alarming, but when you start seeing the videos of people being disemboweled and beheaded with hunting knives and chainsaws, and executions and these things that are going on, and bodies strung up from bridges as a calling card to the cartels. And you realize what we're up against. This isn't women and children. These are folks coming across the border in camouflage, right? I've got video of them coming through by the hundreds, people's deer feeders and game cams and stuff that are out there, picking them up, and they're just walking right through there, just coming right on in the middle of the night. These people, by and large, are not people that are seeking a better life. We've always been, for years, I used to have fun going to Mexico, right? Used to go do that and have a great time. Got arrested in 2007 in Mexico. It was fantastic. It's just cruising.
Sure.
But we look at these things and it's like, why now? Why such a heavy population of illegals coming across the border now? It's an insane deal. And they're basically being invited in. This administration isn't being invited in. I met with the sheriff last week, and he said, didn't like the last administration, but they had the border under control. He said, I voted for this administration. I don't like it. And I said, well, maybe stop being a Democrat. So it's weird, Cordie. It's weird.
Do you think, Chad, I've always thought, and I thought this early on, and it just seems like even more of a glaring possibility is that, these are new voters.
Yeah, 100%.
So, if you want to take over and have total domination in a totalitarian regime, which is what they're trying to, socialist communist regime, then when you get more voters, that are here illegally, you ensure that it's going to go towards socialism because you know those people are illegal, so they're not going to pay taxes. But now dead people are voting, so why not the hundreds of thousands of people that we're just letting come walk right in?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to take control, because you got to understand, this is a deal to try to get new voters, right? Get people. That's why no voter ID. They want to have a voting season, not an election day. And people come through, and anybody can participate in these votes, and they know they're going to roll this thing over. Democrats will have control forever and ever. There'll be no looking back. They know that. They understand that. That's why they're busing them into the interior of the U.S. They're showing up in places like Ohio and Tennessee and Oregon. Why in the world? But that's where they're showing up. Now, what I want to do is I want to take about a dozen of those buses, fill them up with illegals, and I want the Texas Rangers to escort those buses to Washington, D.C. I want them to take them right to the Capitol steps and open up the doors of those 12 buses and just unload those hundreds of illegals right there in Washington, D.C. and say, here it is. It's your problem now, AOC. It's your problem now, Chuck Schumer. It's your problem now, Nancy Pelosi. It's your problem now, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. It's your problem. They're in your neighborhood now. Have at it. Have at it. And people think I'm kidding when I say stuff like that. No, I'm serious. This is a bad deal. Convicted sex traffickers that have been deported are increasing coming into the country now. Sex traffickers are up 300% in the last month. 300%. This is a real deal. This is war. This is the kind of thing we're being invaded with just the utmost evil. It really is. And it's coming to your neighborhood. It's coming to a city near you, no matter where you live in America, because we're not shutting this thing down.
I was in Sturgis, South Dakota a couple of weeks ago, and some parents were telling me about how, just another example of what you're saying, how CRT is in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Right.
Well, I don't know if you know what the population of South Dakota is, but it ain't that big.
It ain't that big, right?
And so I'm just thinking, like, if people are think they can stay on the sidelines, take their daughter to soccer practice and make cupcakes and go back to normal, we just don't live in that world anymore.
No, it's
every
over.
patriot out there's got to be active.
Yeah, got to. Get involved, people. That's the key. You want to see a true sign of getting involved, go to drcordiewilliams.com. Check out all the stuff that he's got going on. We got one more segment, a couple more things to wrap up, and we'll be right back. This weekend, I don't even know if I can promote this. I think they're sold out shows, Steve.
They are.
2 shows, Friday and Saturday night, Abilene, Texas. We're going to be over there, and then I'm doing a show in Cancun. So I'm gonna go check out the other side of Mexico, the other side. We spend a little time. We're going to be down on the border the rest of this week, and then, like I said, Abilene, and then what do we got next? Oh, I know we're going to be in Emily, Minnesota.
Emily, Minnesota,
up in the lakes. The beautiful. I've never been to that part of Minnesota.
It's time. The time of year to go is right now.
Yeah.
So
little tourist area. Big Owls is the name of the venue. We're going to be at Big Owls on Highway 6.
Wow.
That's when you know you've arrived, dude. When you're playing shows at Big Owls on Highway 6 in Emily, Minnesota. Yeah.
Sounds like a Italian joint, right?
I don't know, man.
Italian
I have no
restaurant
idea.
or
I'm gonna have to
pizza
look
place
it up.
Well, sounds like a place in Alabama.
I know,
If
right?
it's called Big Owls, it's redneck. There's some good people there.
Fried catfish.
Fried catfish. Yeah. They call their, Wilma or Papa or Mama. You don't know, or Gigi. You don't know what
Flo.
Flo.
Yeah.
It sounds like a place to get a used car is what it sounds like.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. You can get your oil changed, get a new car, get a new set of tires, and some fried catfish.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't sell sweet tea, son. This is Minnesota.
Don't forget hush puppies.
Hush puppies. I was eating the other day at Huck's in Denison, Texas. That's good catfish. Huck's in Denison. Anyway, we got to jump out of here. Cordie, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for hanging out,
brother.
And keep it up. Doing some good stuff, man, and I appreciate it, and excited about it all. Hey, just remember, go to watchchad.com. It's where all the fun stuff is. Check us out on the road. We love y'all. God bless you. Happy Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Bye.